Do you board game with kids, or is board gaming a hobby that you reserve only for the adults? Whether it's your own kids or someone else's, I'd like to share with you reasons why you should start now, how you can find real joy playing your favorite games with kids, and what games I've had success playing with kids. This is Legendary Tactics. If the kids you know aren't gamers and you want to change that, this video is for you. If the kids you know are gamers and you want to find new ways to connect with them, this video is also for you. So the problem we have is that some of you watching this video might say that kids you know don't like playing board games. And that may be true for now. Perhaps they're buried in their devices and surrounded by screens and better things to do, quote unquote, or perhaps they've just forgotten how to play. Devices have become the modern day babysitters. And I bet if you gave those kids a cardboard box, some pencils, pens, and crayons, some of them might not even know what to do with them. So let's try to fix this. So why should we fix this? Well, for kids between the ages of 6 and 12, too much screen time can lead to sleep problems, lower grades in school, reading fewer books, less time with family, and not enough physical activity. This can result in weight issues, mood problems, poor self-image, and a lack of creativity. So yes, too much screen time is a problem, and board games are one of the medicines that you can use to solve this. Board games are interactive, they provide learning, they get their brains buzzing, they sharpen their literacy skills and their ability to focus. They teach kids how to be good losers. They can teach teamwork and cooperation, and they can soothe anxiety. But the best part of gaming is that you get to connect with those kids with something that you can both enjoy. So how do we fix this? How do we get kids to want to play games with you or with each other? This starts with you, and it's not limited to board games. If you're passionate about something, your energy and enthusiasm will be infectious. If there's a game you love, don't be afraid to show it to kids and play it with them. Kids will wonder what it is in that mysterious box of cardboard that gets you so fired up. For me, the game Cosmic Encounter never fails to get me jazzed. This is a great gateway game for kids because the conflict is all decided by the game. You're forced to attack other players. Fate determines your enemy. So this keeps the player-to-player conflict levels low. So what's the right age? For those of you scampering over to the Board Game Geek to find out the recommended age for Cosmic Encounter, I'll save you the trouble. It's 13 plus, and my kids are much younger than that. So here's my advice on age requirements on games. Ignore them. Many publishers put high age restrictions on games because they don't want to be responsible if the game parts are harmful and toxic to kids. So if your kids are the kind who don't eat your board games, then you're going to be fine. The only real restriction on most board games is the ability to read. If the game is card heavy and text dependent, you might want to save those games until they're 7 or 8 years old and they can read the cards themselves. But most board games use their own language of symbols and markers that younger kids can handle if you teach them. And some great games you can use if they don't read yet are Dixit, Splendor, Ticket to Ride, all great choices. Another way to get kids gaming is by bribing them. Naturally, some kids won't want to play board games because they never have, and because their video game console has way better graphics, and I'm not above bribing them. When you play board games, consider offering some external bonus that they normally wouldn't get. A big bowl of popcorn is cheap and not horribly unhealthy. In my household, for instance, our kids never get to drink soda pop, so when we play games, they get a small can of 7-Up or Crush, and this becomes part of the experience. Yeah, I might be a terrible person, but maybe you could listen to music with them while you play as the motivator, or whatever it is that gets your kids excited. At first, the treat might be the only reason they play with you, but as you play more, you'll find that the games become the motivator more than the treat. I picked up a $7 copy of Betrayal at the House on the Hill, and this was a huge hit in my household. Now we're working our way through Betrayal Legacy, and the familiarity of the game mechanics mixed with the discovery that comes with legacy games makes this one that we'll remember down the line. It's also important to make it regular. Another strategy you can use is to make gaming night a regular occurrence. Consider having Friday night games night where you get some pizza and play a game together. For families, this is a great way to debrief the week. You get plenty of time to talk about non-game thoughts that kids love to share. And each week a different person chooses their game so that they can take ownership over the experience and so that they develop their own tastes. Remember, it doesn't matter if you don't like their choice. Play it anyways. You might even grow to like it. One game that my kids love is Catan. It's one that works well with any gender, and the rules aren't too hard to learn. There's even a family edition if your kids haven't played many strategy games and you want an easy entry point. The difficulty of the game should also reflect your ability to teach it in a meaningful way. So So on to the question of teaching a game. In case I haven't convinced you of the value of playing games with kids yet, I firmly believe that board games are a great way to learn while you're having fun. For kids, they need to decipher card text, they'll be improving the problem-solving skills, or refine decision-making skills, and even learn how to plan strategy in advance. I made a video on how to teach kids how to play chess. If you haven't seen it, the link is above. Chess is a great example of a game that teaches kids to think 2 or 3 turns in advance. Another more recent game that does this with my kids is Power Grid. It's a nice light Euro that teaches kids to plan what power plant to buy, what resources they need to power it, and where to expand their network. And let me tell you, I know some teenagers who would really have benefited from more advanced planning. Don't underestimate what kids are capable of learning, and don't be afraid to try some challenging games with them. So long as you know the game well, it will be a fun time. Finding joy. If you made it this far into the video and you're not already subscribed, consider joining our channel now to get more videos like this. The most important part of the whole experience is how you and the kids find joy in this. Working cooperatively can be a great way to connect. Games like The Captain is Dead, which is a space game, or my personal favorite right at the moment, Horrified, with all of the classic monsters. You could even try 5 Minute Dungeon, which really is only 5 minutes long, or The Legends of Andor, which is a little bit more epic, but it's a really great adventure game. They've worked really well for me and my Litleys, who are actually now 8, 9, and 12. If the kids are connecting with the theme, then you will too. And children can teach us so much about the world. Like how to be immature and just take time for games in a world full of people who don't play enough. Messaging. Just for a moment, think back to a person who you really connected with when you were a kid. What was it about that person that established your connection with them? Whether you're a grandparent, a parent, an aunt, an uncle, what you're really saying to the kids when you play games with them is that you want to spend time with them. And chances are, the person you connected with is someone who gave you some of their time. As adults, spending quality time with kids is something they'll remember. One game that builds great stories and will likely lead to positive memories is Telestrations. You'll laugh until your can of cola comes squirting out of your nose with this one. So, how do you keep kids at the table? When you play games with kids, there are some important distinctions from playing with adults. Kids want to play. To them, this is like a toy, whereas for adults, it's like a puzzle. Well, maybe not to all adults, but I think that's another video. Kids want to become the characters they play as, and when you read flavor text in games, kids perk up as if you're a storyteller reading them a bedtime book. They get deeply invested in the theme of the game, and they use their imaginations. With more advanced games, I like to editorialize the story and soften it for them so it's not too scary or hard to understand. The downside to this is that children really don't want to see their characters die, so be flexible. Don't get too hung up on all the rules, or you'll be sure to drive them away from the table. House rules are king with kids. Rerolls are encouraged, and fun is the ultimate endgame, not winning. This can be hard for some adults to adjust to. Also, don't come to the table not knowing how to play the game yourself. The best way to lose a kid's interest is to be pouring through a rulebook while they watch you struggle to understand how they swing their sword at the dragon. What do you get out of this? Well, most importantly, what you get from playing board games with kids is lasting relationships. When those kids grow up and they head off to university, or they get a job, you can stay connected with them, either online or when they come home and want to crack out their favorite board games. Never underestimate the power of interaction with people you care about. When they grow up, they won't recount that time they gathered food in that app on their phone, but they will remember the time they played the dirty Monopoly strategy against you in Catan and stole all your sheep. When you board game with kids, you'll find the innocence of joy and youth. You'll see your games from a whole new perspective, and you'll pass on your love for gaming to the next generation of kids who so desperately need this kind of fun. So please, share your games with kids and play with them every week. If you have games that work well with kids, please share those in the comments so I can try your games out and so others can see what ones worked for you. For more videos like this, click on one of the options I've got for you here. Thanks so much for your time.